Just a clarification about this very interesting presentation on M&E issues. As Dr. Adriu Basari also mentioned in his presentation on day one, IFPRI has already done a capacity assessment exercise for FRMAT, conducted in 2016 and funded by DFID. That was a request coming straight from the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. So this is the good news here, is that this is something that we have already. Of course, this is not in the public domain for pretty obvious reasons, because it includes some sensitive information, but it's a very, very detailed, I would say, exercise. And of course, FRMAT has all relevant information about this. So this is something that has been done already. We have not done, and I'm not talking about IFPRI, what I know, to the best of my knowledge, there is no capacity assessment exercise done for LCN. However, IFPRI again, back in 2016, completed a major comprehensive report on the need to transform LCN, which included elements of capacity assessment, but not a very detailed and in-depth comprehensive capacity assessment exercise the way we did it for FRMAT. That's for information, because there is no need to do against something that is already there.
Exactly,
okay?
exactly. Yeah, it would be very, very embarrassing for an alignment process to be so disaligned. Okay, who was number two? Number two is right there.
Thank you for the opportunity. I have intervention which I would have made earlier, but I was not given the opportunity on data.
Okay,
so
please go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, yes.
Yeah.
So data people listen also. Yeah.
Yeah. On the issue of data generation, actually there has been a very mighty chasm among those that are collecting data. So there's strong need for harmonization of data that is generated. So there's need for a mechanism to be put in place where all sectors that are involved in data generation that are related to agriculture should be put on board, should be brought up. Then,
are you saying there is a process or there should be a process?
Yeah, it's a process, but it's weak, so we need to...
Okay, within the ministry?
Yeah, we need to...
Okay, so there's a process for harmonizing data, but it needs to be strengthened.
Exactly.
Can you just mark that?
Yeah. And then for the issue of, after you've generated the data, there's need to manage it. So, and that's where the issue of knowledge management comes in.
Yes.
And in this case, what was lacking in their presentation is when you have a knowledge management platform, it has to be multi-sectoral and multi-stakeholder.
Yeah.
So that is, you need to bring in the private sector, the civil society organization, donors, and whatever.
Yeah.
So if you develop a platform, in fact, you can create a block for each of these stakeholders within the platform. So I think that also needs to be emphasized. Okay. And then on the issue of M&E, I think something that I think is always not been or downplayed is the issue of evaluation. More often than not, people emphasize the monitoring because they involve going out, getting your DPR and come back. Yeah. But when it comes to the evaluation, that is the area where it's not always been considered. So I think from time to time, we need to ensure that the evaluation aspect, which is analytical, must be emphasized.
Thank you.
So, and if we can get this on board, and also the M&E too, it has to be participatory, not just leaving it to the government or to particular defined agency. Because the tendency is, if you just say it should be done by a Federal Ministry of Agriculture and what have you, they are non-state actors as well. They have a key role to play in ensuring that monitoring and evaluation is carried out. Because if you leave it to government alone, there's a tendency for compromising.
Okay. So two points on M&E. I think the data one we've already. The 2 points on the M&E. One is there's need for emphasis on the E, not just the M. Yeah, that the E should actually be emphasized as well. And when we are talking about, and maybe even though it was intended there, just flag that the E, the analytical part. And but you're also talking about the fact that it is not just the ministry's work to do, that the stakeholders should be involved. Actually, at least in my life as a scientist, what I remember is our M&E team used to tell us, M&E is not what you do when you are not busy. M&E should actually be intrinsic in your project, and you should be tracking as you do, not after you do. So if that is going to be the culture here, that should actually go down to the institutions and the project. So they don't say, okay, now we have finished the project. What is the M&E requirement? I mean, it does not work like that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So George has already.
I said 85. Let me add the minute.
Okay, do the 25% left.
On the need assessment, I actually remember that you are here. ARUCN, not paying all for the NARIS, the research center. It was also with IFPRI, the lead that came from Washington, was having done for the university.
But that assessment, the capacity one.
Yeah, it was done in 2010 and 11. And I'm really surprised that the person that championed it from ARUCN is now a senator.
He's a senator.
Yeah, no, because essentially now we are supposed to have a voice in the National Assembly.
Yes.
We'll be able to give legal instruments.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether after he left, whether someone took over.
Okay.
Who will be able to say this person is responsible for this in the council.
So again, I mean, there is a track there. There's a way we can follow. But being a senator is actually a good thing. Or are you saying we have lost him? Okay.
The opportunity to come across a platform which is called Sustainable Rice Platform. Africa Rice is part of that forum. Olam International is also part of that forum. And in this forum, they decided to gather data. And that's why I'm saying probably the data we need when we are collecting this data, we must think of when we collect this data, how are we going to organize them into this type of a platform. And they developed a global sustainable rice production platform against which each country or each organization that is a member measures the progress of rice production practices by the farmers within that country or within that community or within that enterprise. And they have set some indicators and performance indicators which they measure. Now, when you gather the information from the farmer, as you are entering in the data, the platform or the tool they are using is already giving you the areas where the farmers are performing well and where the areas are not performing well.
So we can learn
and from there, you can now design projects, you can channel funds to meet up those areas where the farmers are not performing well to make up the target of their production. So I think this M&E tool, we need to put it in this type of framework that we'll be able to get for each commodity, if possible for us in Nigeria, we should be able to have this standard for the production against which we can measure
thank you.
progress.
I think that's, thank you. So maybe we should just request the M&E team to make reference to that global sustainable rice platform as something we can learn from and leave it at that. But yeah, okay. Thanks so much for sharing that.
In order not to repeat what I think we are trying to say, he called it a platform. Dr. Baye called it a data integration point.
Yeah.
I was thinking the MIE, there should be a kind of knowledge management for innovation, right? Or a knowledge management component of what they are talking, where data from different area can be integrated and maybe used to propel future decisions. I think that's what they are trying to say in different ways.
Thank you. So I guess for the M&D team, the point coming now from three people is that your M&D came through, but the knowledge management part, I think there's need to, that's what they were saying there. So knowledge management, and I think that is the interface between data, the data group as well as yourselves. But I think knowledge management is a very important component and needs to be we shouldn't let it drop between the two, disappear between the two. Did you want to say something before we move to the next group? Can you give that microphone? I
just wanted to seek some clarification. I think what everybody is trying to allude to is once the system is designed and you know what you're trying to collect across the board and everything, what you're suggesting is that an online M&D system should be established or designed through which, what you're mentioning from the rice example is like dashboards, whereby performance can be, gauged or seen immediately. from the results that you're getting from the data that is being entered, which touches on something I mentioned yesterday. So it's not that it's a different thing, but once you design the system, then you get programmers to do an online system so that it keeps flagging the various areas.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess that's I think the request is that the KM group should actually mention that explicitly so that it's not lost. Okay, we need to move with your permission.